Hello, my friends. It's good to be back and have you back. Today, I want to talk about education or upbringing. I would like to talk about, you know, the way we train our children to survive in this world. Methods of disciplining, redirecting our children, talking to them in order to prepare them to uh, succeed in life. Obviously, in order to make sure the child understands redirection or the advice you provide a child with punishment, with positive reinforcement, you have to take into consideration the child's cognitive development. So that is the child's ability to understand what you are talking about. So you have to uh, adjust your training, methods of training or disciplining, coaching, according to your child's cognitive development, the stage where he or she is. And one good study or point where we can start is the Piaget. He was a psychologist, and he has four stages of cognitive development. That's a theory according to different stages in the child's mental development. So it's a good guide for parents to read before trying to address their kids and trying to change their behavior, making them improve and not make the same mistakes. So when a child or an adult, for that matter, makes a mistake, so we take first we take uh, the scenario of someone who makes really genuinely makes a mistake, um, doesn't know better. So when someone doesn't know better, how do you change that person's behavior? One of the best ways to do it, or the best way to do it, is to explain to that person, the child or the adult, the second that person, or as soon as that person um, made a mistake, acted in a certain way, or said something that was not supposed to, you correct that behavior by immediately pointing out that that behavior, that act is inappropriate, and you explain using reason according to that person's mental development, the child's cognitive development, why that action is not a good action to be repeated. Now, obviously, the person who was explained this could understand it, or maybe could not understand it, or simply ignores it, doesn't want to do it. I want to do it this way. I don't want to do it the way you say it, for whatever reasons. But what I'm saying for from the from the person who, from the perspective of the person who explains that, you do that as soon as the behavior was uh, executed, the behavior was done, observed, and you have to do this each and every time. So you can't, if let's say this behavior, you come and tell the person, "I don't do this again," but then three times he or she does the same thing and you don't intervene, and then the fifth time you intervene, and then again the sixth, seventh, you don't intervene. It is no consistency. So you have to be consistent in pointing out, and repetition creating conditioning, to reasoning, explaining each and every time. Now, if you don't do this to a child, the child will not know what's right and what's wrong unless he or she will learn through direct experience, which could take longer, which could take, could be a reason, a mental connection. You don't have a logical mental connection why this should not be done. It's just because it hurt in some way. So you're gonna learn like an animal. The animals don't talk to one another and hey, don't go that way because that's bad. Just follow me. The fawn goes that way, kitten, whatever, hurts, comes back, and maybe if she does that, if she survives a few times, it's gonna learn. Otherwise, gonna die or whatever, get injured. So if you don't tell someone that a certain behavior was wrong and explain why that behavior was wrong, and maybe offer to have a counter argument coming from the other person. So you have to be able mentally and using reason. If you are on the side of the right behavior, you must have um, the right explanation in a way that you should overwhelm the other person with the counter arguments. Unless the other person argues, uh, not in good faith, but in bad faith. It means doesn't really want to learn that, or argues just to, I don't know, hurt you or aggravate you or irritate you and so on. So if I make a mistake, let's say I'm at work, make a mistake. If someone doesn't tell me I made a mistake, it means I might do make that mistake in the future again and again and again, and maybe create a lot of problems for me and for other people that I would uh, inevitably hurt or do wrong. So the sooner I'm told, the better, so I can change my behavior if I want or if I'm able to understand that. So why did I start saying all these things? Is because one of my videos was again uh, flagged as a violation of the community. I don't know what community because I should be part of the community as well, right? One of my videos was flagged that violates the community's guidances or uh, whatever guidances they have. Okay, so I had this done, maybe my third video that I posted, and I appealed that. So I wrote a message and I messaged back to these guys, and I I requested, nicely, to point out what was the exact reason why my video was blocked. So I could change, or I can maybe, because everything I say here, I do not say it with evil or ill intentions. I'm not lying. That's not my goal. I'm trying to give you my knowledge that I know from books, interpretations of those, analysis based on my intelligence, could be flawed like everybody else's. So if I reach a certain conclusion based on the evidence that I have provided by sources of knowledge, books, other lectures, and so on, then it's a different story. We all lack the entire uh, view of an issue. We can't know everything about everything. Even if about, I don't know, my dad, my mom, I don't know everything about them. So if I say they're good people, I don't know if they committed crimes or not, because I do not know everything. I do not. Neither you do, okay? You don't know that either. So nevertheless, these guys denied my appeal for that video that I, appealed. I asked for a review. And what surprised me was that they didn't give me an explanation saying, you see, at the minute 3.45, you made this claim, which is actually incorrect because that's not it. So I can go back and look and go to my sources and verify and maybe say, oh no, that's the way it is, or maybe say, oh man, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, they were right. So I learned something. That's great. I learned something. Thank you very much. What they did, they sent me back to listen to my whole video. Well, obviously, I stand by my whole video because that's what I believe. That's what I know. So you ask me to look over everything and analyze something that I'm certain is true, or at least I'm saying things that I read about being true. So why don't you help me and tell me exactly what is wrong so I can change my behavior so I don't say it again? I improve my knowledge, I may broaden my horizon. They just say, no, your appeal was denied. I still think I said everything that I knew with in good faith, and I still don't know what I said wrong. So what does it mean? They tried to create uh, an intellectual uncertainty. So I should question myself from now on each and every time when I say something. That means I will never say anything. Nobody would say anything because you don't know if that's really 100% certain all the time or most of the time. So if I say something I read in this book, I will say it again. Now I don't know if that book was, let's say, debunked 2 years ago. I have no idea. And you sanction me without explaining why. So this is like you go to work and they say, well, we're going to sanction you with this, but they're not going to tell you what you did wrong. You got to figure it out. I mean, how stupid it is. It's counterproductive. Counterproductive. I think it's wrong, and I suspect that it's not really what I said that was necessarily incorrect or misleading or something. I think it did not fit the community's guidances. That means uh, I said I like the color green, and they don't like the color green, and they sanctioned me because I like color green is a beautiful color. So they said, based on our community guidances, uh, it's a violation. But they're not going to tell me why me liking color green is a bad thing, and I will never figure out that was the mistake. Why? Because that's an ideology. That's a preference. It's not really, hey, it's like I say, you know what? I think that, the planet Earth is a cube. Then I understand. They can show you all kind of pictures or tell you. It's not something like that. I mean, I should be a crazy man to say such a thing. Or I can say, I'm not a biped. I'm, I don't know, octoped or something, pentaped, or who knows, might be a pentaped. But anyway, it's just tell me, tell me so I can improve. You just don't just sanction me, and if you sanction me, you will try to make me um, censor myself, and that would make me be um, unsincere and trying to um, provide an explanation for something but wrapped in a nice way, in a nice wrapping, and that can have different interpretations. I don't want to have that. I want to say things, express things as clearly as possible, so there's no interpretations. I don't want to talk about one thing in 5 hours speech when I can figure that out or define that in 2 sentences. We waste time. uh, it's better to be clear, direct, open, sincere, instead of just trying to be slippery, shady. So I'm still waiting, and I know that if I'm gonna have another violation or something, I will get the same response. So I will not appeal it anymore because you lose faith in the system, in the procedures. So for me, the system doesn't work. So I'm not gonna even bother. In my mind, it's wrong. Didn't tell me where. I still am in the right, but they have the power. They have the power. That's why you have to adjust. You have to find a certain way of saying things. You have to go on different platform, and you have to avoid certain things. And you have to censor yourself, censoring things that you know they're true, but would not meet the requirements of the community, uh, whatever standards, whatever they are. Well, thank you for being with me. You got to be strong. You got to be smart. You got to be truthful. Look for the truth and be just. Be fair. Be correct. Until next time. Have a good evening. Ciao.